They thought a $250,000 fine would bury her spirit, but Linda Martin was about to dig up a secret that would collapse the HOA's empire. When the Brookside HOA built a parking lot on her family's land, she discovered a hidden underground tunnel that would expose their decades-old scam. Linda Martin, a 60-year-old retired nurse, had spent her life saving others, but now she was fighting to save her own legacy. Her 12-acre plot in Brookside Ridge, New England, was a sanctuary. A cozy cottage where she'd raised her children, flower gardens planted by her mother, and a basement filled with family heirlooms from her grandparents, who'd bought the land in 1955. Brookside Ridge had transformed from a quiet suburb into a gated community of luxury condos, controlled by the Brookside HOA under Evelyn Shaw, a real estate mogul with an $8 million condo. Linda had always followed HOA rules, painting her door the approved shade, trimming her hedges on schedule. But in June 2025, a certified letter arrived that shattered her world. The letter, stamped with the HOA's silver logo, felt heavy in her hands. Sitting at her kitchen table, the scent of fresh coffee fading, Linda read the words that hit like a punch. A $250,000 fine for encroachment on community property. The HOA claimed her basement entrance protruded into their new $1.5 million parking lot, built a year earlier for condo residents. The letter referenced the 2012 survey that redrew her boundaries, shrinking her 12 acres to 5. Her basement, a relic of her grandparents' self-sufficient days, was now unauthorized and had to be sealed within 45 days or her cottage would be seized. Linda's hands trembled as she clutched the letter. Her grandparents had bought this land in 1955, turning it into a home during the post-war boom. She retrieved the 1955 deed from a metal box in the basement, its faded ink mapping 12 acres, including the land under the parking lot's main section. She recalled the 2024 construction crews, their excavators tearing through what she thought was adjacent property. They claimed it was HOA land. Now the truth sank in. They'd stolen 7 acres, worth millions, right under her nose. She called her nephew, Alex, a real estate lawyer with a knack for uncovering fraud. Alex arrived that afternoon, his laptop open. "This survey's a fake, Aunt Linda," he said, comparing the 2012 document to county records. The coordinates were off, and the surveyor, Robert E. Vance, wasn't licensed in New England. "This is deliberate fraud," Alex said. "The parking lot's on your land, and they're fining you to hide it." He explained that HOAs like Brookside often targeted older residents, using forged surveys to expand developments. Evelyn Shaw, with her condo empire, had likely orchestrated it to boost property values by 25%, raking in millions in fees. Alex urged hiring a surveyor to remap the land and filing a lawsuit to reclaim the 7 acres and void the fine. "It won't be easy," he warned. "Evelyn's got deep pockets and deeper connections." Linda nodded, resolute. Alex contacted Dana Kim, a surveyor with cutting-edge GPS tech. Dana arrived with drones and radar, spending 12 days mapping every inch of Linda's land under curious neighbors' gazes. Her findings were damning. The 1955 deed was accurate, and Linda's 12 acres covered the parking lot and part of the condo complex's driveway. The 2012 survey was a forgery with manipulated coordinates and a fake signature. Dana's 60-page report valued the stolen land at $6 million. Alex filed a lawsuit demanding the HOA demolish the parking lot or pay rent for Linda's land, plus an injunction to stop further violations. The HOA's response was vicious. Evelyn's lawyer, Gregory Vance, sharing the forged surveyor's name, a chilling coincidence, countersued for obstructing community access and emotional distress. They called the basement a safety hazard and demanded its sealing. HOA inspectors swarmed Linda's property, citing new violations: overgrowing gardens, non-compliant paint, an unsightly mailbox. One even criticized her old sedan. Evelyn visited Linda one evening, her luxury sedan gleaming. "Sell us the remaining 5 acres for $400,000, she said, her smile icy. "It's generous considering the fine." Linda stood firm. "This land's my family's for 70 years, Evelyn. You stole it, and I'm taking it back." Evelyn's eyes narrowed. "You'll regret this," she hissed, leaving. Threats followed, anonymous notes warning, "Back off or lose everything." Linda's savings dwindled, with $50,000 in legal fees in a month. Neighbors avoided her, fearing HOA retaliation. At night, she sat in her basement staring at her grandparents' photos, whispering, "I won't let you down." Alex warned the lawsuit could take years, draining her resources. But Linda, a nurse who'd faced life and death crises, had a plan. She contacted Jordan Hale, a YouTuber with 300,000 subscribers on New England Uncovered. Jordan met her, eyes gleaming as she showed him the deed in the HOA's letter. "This is viral gold," he said. His video, "HOA Steals Nurse's Family Land for Parking Lot," the fine that backfired, opened with Linda's emotional story, her voice cracking as she spoke of her grandparents. Jordan overlaid the deed on aerial shots of the parking lot, narrating, "They stole 7 acres, worth millions, and fined her $250,000 for a basement. Is this the American dream?" The video hit 5 million views in 48 hours, with hashtag Linda's Land trending at 8 million mentions. The video exploded, fueling a GoFundMe that raised $150,000 for Linda's legal fees. Comments poured in. "HOAs are legalized theft. Linda's a hero." A TikTok of drone footage showing the parking lot with Linda's deed boundaries went viral, hitting 8 million likes. Evelyn sent a cease and desist letter, accusing Linda of slander and threatening a defamation lawsuit. But the public tide was turning. Brookside residents began questioning Evelyn's authority, and a local news channel aired Linda's story, filming her basement and the parking lot. Linda's fight was no longer hers. It was a spark for every homeowner crushed by HOA greed. But she needed more than sympathy. She needed a blaze that would burn Evelyn's empire to the ground.
They thought they'd silenced her with threats, but Linda Martin's protest on their stolen parking lot was just the beginning. When she uncovered a hidden tunnel beneath her basement, the HOA's darkest secrets were about to see the light. Linda Martin stood in the moonlight on her 12-acre plot in Brookside Ridge, New England, her heart racing with defiance. The Brookside HOA, led by the ruthless Evelyn Shaw, had stolen 7 acres of her family's land for a $1.5 million parking lot, fining her $250,000 for her basement entrance. The 1955 deed, backed by surveyor Dana Kim's GPS report, proved the land was hers. But Evelyn's legal team was relentless, countersuing for obstructing community access. Linda's viral YouTube video, made by Jordan Hale, had sparked hashtag Linda's Land, trending at 8 million mentions, and her GoFundMe had raised $150,000 for legal fees. But the anonymous threats, "back off or lose everything," kept her awake. Linda, a 60-year-old retired nurse, wasn't one to cower. She had a plan to escalate the fight, a public protest on their parking lot to reclaim her stolen land. Linda met with Jordan and Alex, her nephew and lawyer, in her cottage's kitchen. "We need to hit them where it hurts," she said, her voice steady despite the late hour. "A protest on their precious parking lot. We'll block their condos and demand answers." Jordan grinned, his camera ready. "That'll go viral." Alex nodded, but warned, "Evelyn's team will slap us with an injunction. We need to move fast." They planned the protest for Saturday, dubbing it Linda's Land Reclamation Rally. Jordan posted a teaser on New England Uncovered showing drone footage of the parking lot with Linda's deed overlaid. "Join us to take back what's hers," he urged. The post hit 3 million views and hashtag Linda's Rally trended. By Saturday morning, the parking lot was chaos. Over 1,000 supporters, neighbors, activists, and HOA victims from nearby towns flooded the lot, parking cars to block spaces and setting up tents with signs, "Linda's Land, Stop HOA Theft." A local band played folk music, and food trucks donated coffee and donuts. Linda stood on a makeshift stage holding her 1955 deed, her gray hair glowing under the sun. "This is my family's land," she declared, her voice amplified by Jordan's speakers. "They stole it, and we're taking it back." The crowd roared, and news crews from Boston filmed the scene. A viral TikTok of Linda's speech, captioned "Nurse Fights HOA Greed," hit 10 million views. Evelyn Shaw arrived in her sedan, flanked by security. "This is illegal," she shouted, waving a cease and desist letter. Linda faced her, unflinching. "You're on my land, Evelyn. Leave!" The crowd chanted, "Linda's land!" and Evelyn retreated, her face pale. The HOA filed for an emergency injunction, claiming the protest was a public safety hazard. They sent letters to residents, threatening to double dues if the rally continued. Some neighbors backed off, but others joined, bringing signs, "No more HOA lies." The protest shut down the condo complex's access, stranding residents' cars and costing the HOA thousands of dollars in lost parking fees. Jordan's live stream on YouTube drew 500,000 viewers, with comments flooding in. "Linda's a legend. HOAs are scams." The GoFundMe climbed to $200,000, funding Alex's legal battle. But the threats escalated. Late Friday, a rock smashed through Linda's window with a note, "End the rally or your cottage burns." Linda reported it to Sheriff Torres, who found no fingerprints but suspected HOA involvement. The memory of a strange gasoline smell near her basement a week earlier chilled her.
Determined to dig deeper, Linda and Alex revisited Dana's survey report. Dana mentioned an anomaly. Her ground-penetrating radar had detected a void beneath the basement, possibly a tunnel or a storage chamber. "It's not on any county maps," Dana said. "Could be old, maybe from your grandparents' time." Curious, Linda explored her basement that night, armed with a flashlight. Behind a shelf of canned peaches, she found a loose panel in the stone wall. She pushed it aside, revealing a narrow, damp tunnel descending into darkness. Her heart pounded. "What were you hiding, Grandpa?" she whispered. With Alex and Dana, Linda ventured into the tunnel. The air was musty, the walls lined with 1950s-era bricks. After 50 feet, they found a rusted metal box, sealed tight. Inside were documents, ledgers, receipts, and a 1970s letter from a contractor to the HOA's predecessor, mentioning land transfers and discrete payments for boundary changes. One receipt for $20,000 was signed by Evelyn's father, a former HOA board member. The document suggested a decades-long scheme to annex land from families like Linda's, using fake surveys to expand developments. The tunnel, likely built for storage, had been a secret archive. Alex was stunned. "This ties Evelyn's family to land theft since the 70s, he said. "If we verify this, it's a bombshell." Dana used her radar to map the tunnel, which stretched under the parking lot toward the condo complex. Linda realized the HOA might know about the tunnel, explaining their desperation to seal her basement. She shared the find with Jordan, who filmed a teaser. "Secret tunnel under HOA parking lot. Linda's about to blow the lid off." The clip hit 7 million views, and hashtag Linda's Tunnel trended globally. The HOA's response was fierce. Evelyn's lawyer, Gregory Vance, filed a motion to seize Linda's basement for structural safety checks, claiming the tunnel was a collapse risk. They also accused Linda of trespassing on HOA property by exploring it. Alex countered with a motion to admit the tunnel documents as evidence, requesting a forensic historian to verify them. Legal fees hit $90,000, but the GoFundMe kept Linda afloat. Neighbors, inspired by the tunnel reveal, joined the rally, swelling it to 2,000 people. A national news network aired a segment. "Nurse's tunnel discovery rocks HOA scandal," pushing hashtag Linda's Land to 12 million mentions. Linda's cottage became a fortress, with volunteers patrolling at night. She felt her grandparents' strength in those basement walls, their legacy urging her on. But the HOA wasn't done.
Late one night, Linda heard footsteps in her garden. She grabbed her flashlight, heart racing, and saw a figure near the basement entrance holding a gas can. She shouted, and the figure fled, but the threat was clear. The injunction hearing was days away, and Evelyn was playing dirty. Linda knew she had to protect the tunnel's secrets and rally the town before the HOA buried her for good.
They thought their injunction would crush her rebellion, but Linda Martin turned their parking lot into a festival of defiance. As she prepared to unveil the tunnel's secrets in court, a shocking betrayal threatened to bury her fight for good. Linda Martin stood on the edge of the Brookside Ridge parking lot, her eyes scanning the growing crowd under the September sun. The air buzzed with defiance as her Linda's Land Reclamation rally had morphed into the Linda's Liberty Festival, a bold escalation in her war against the Brookside HOA. The HOA, led by Evelyn Shaw, had stolen 7 of her 12 acres for a $1.5 million parking lot, finding her $250,000 for her basement entrance. Linda's 1955 deed and surveyor Dana Kim's report proved the land was hers, and a hidden tunnel beneath her basement had revealed 1970s documents exposing decades of HOA land theft. Jordan Hale's YouTube videos had pushed hashtag Linda's Land and hashtag Linda's Tunnel to 12 million mentions, with her GoFundMe at $200,000. But the HOA's injunction hearing loomed, and a shadowy figure with a gas can had left Linda shaken. Now, with 2,000 supporters flooding the lot, she was ready to turn up the heat. The festival was a spectacle. Tents lined the parking lot, signs reading Linda's Land and End HOA Greed waving in the breeze. Food trucks served free tacos. A local band played protest anthems, and families painted banners on the asphalt. Linda, her gray hair tied back, stood on the stage holding her 1955 deed. "This isn't just my fight," she declared, her voice echoing. "It's for every homeowner crushed by HOA lies." The crowd roared, and news helicopters circled above. Jordan's live stream on New England Uncovered hit 1 million viewers, with hashtag Linda's Festival trending globally. A viral TikTok of kids painting "Justice for Linda" on the lot's concrete racked up 15 million views. Evelyn Shaw's legal team, led by Gregory Vance, fought back. They secured an emergency injunction hearing, claiming the festival was a public nuisance that endangered condo residents. They sent letters to Brookside homeowners threatening $5,000 fines for attending. Some neighbors caved, but others joined, swelling the crowd to 3,000 by noon. The festival shut down the parking lot entirely, forcing condo residents to park blocks away. A national news outlet ran a headline, "Nurses Festival Paralyzes HOA's $1.5 million parking lot." The HOA's stock plummeted 15%, and Evelyn's condo sales stalled as buyers feared the scandal. Linda's nephew, Alex, worked tirelessly with Dana to prepare the tunnel documents for court. The 1970s ledgers and receipts linking Evelyn's father to land theft were a legal bombshell. Alex hired a forensic historian, Dr. Clara Newen, to authenticate them. Clara's initial report confirmed the documents were genuine, dating to 1973, and detailed a scheme where the HOA's predecessor paid contractors to forge surveys annexing land from families like Linda's. One ledger entry showed a $20,000 payment to a surveyor named R. Vance, eerily similar to Gregory Vance's name. Alex suspected a family connection and dug deeper, uncovering that Gregory's uncle was a contractor in the 1970s. This isn't just Evelyn, it's a multi-generational scam. The injunction hearing was set for Monday, and Alex filed a motion to present the tunnel documents as evidence of fraud, arguing they voided the HOA's claim to the land. Gregory countered, demanding access to the tunnel for safety inspections and accusing Linda of fabricating the documents. The legal fees hit $120,000, straining Linda's finances despite the GoFundMe. She barely slept, haunted by the gas can figure. Sheriff Torres increased patrols, but no leads emerged. Linda felt the weight of her grandparents' legacy, their photos in the basement urging her on. A new ally emerged, Maria Garcia, a former HOA office assistant who'd quit after witnessing Evelyn's shady deals. Maria contacted Linda through Jordan's channel, meeting her at the festival. "I saw Evelyn shred documents in 2022, Maria whispered, her eyes darting. "They were old surveys, marked confidential. I think they're hiding more." Maria handed over a USB drive with scanned emails from Evelyn to a developer, hinting at boundary adjustments for a new condo phase. One email mentioned a tunnel issue that needed to stay buried. Linda's pulse raced. This tied the HOA to the tunnel's secrets. Jordan filmed a new video. HOA's dirty secrets. Ex-employee spills all. Maria's testimony, blurred for anonymity, detailed Evelyn's pressure to silence dissent. The video hit 10 million views, and hashtag Linda's Festival surged to 18 million mentions. Supporters flooded the lot, turning it into a 24/7 camp with volunteer security. A viral meme showed Evelyn's face with "Tunnel Hider" in bold red. The HOA's PR team scrambled, issuing a statement. "Ms. Martin's claims are baseless, and the festival disrupts our community." It backfired, with online forums calling Evelyn the HOA dictator. But the HOA struck back. Late Sunday, a fire broke out near Linda's cottage, scorching her garden. Firefighters contained it, but the gasoline smell confirmed arson. Sheriff Torres found a matchbook with the HOA's logo, a chilling clue. Linda's heart sank. Evelyn was escalating. The festival crowd rallied, forming a human chain around her cottage, chanting, "Protect Linda's land." A national TV segment aired, titled "Arson at Nurse's Home. Is the HOA to blame?" The GoFundMe hit $250,000, with donations from Canada and Australia. Alex warned that the injunction hearing could halt the festival and seal the tunnel before the documents were verified. "We need a miracle," he said. Linda, standing in her basement, touched her grandparents' photos. The tunnel secrets were her weapon, but time was running out. Maria's emails hinted at a bigger cover-up, possibly tied to the condo complex. Linda had an idea: expand the festival into a truth march to the HOA's office, demanding transparency. It was risky. Evelyn's team could use it to paint her as a troublemaker, but Linda was done playing safe. As the festival grew, a stranger approached Linda at dusk, her face hidden under a hood. "Check the tunnel's end," she whispered, slipping her a folded map before vanishing into the crowd. The map, old and yellowed, showed the tunnel extending to a hidden chamber under the condo complex. Linda's breath caught. If she could reach it, she might uncover evidence to end Evelyn's empire for good. But with the hearing hours away and the arson smoke still lingering, Linda faced a choice: play it safe or risk everything to expose the truth. They thought they could scare her into silence with fire. But Linda Martin's discovery in the tunnel's hidden chamber would ignite a firestorm. As her truth march stormed the HOA's office, a betrayal from within threatened to bury her rebellion in ashes. Linda Martin crouched in the damp darkness of the tunnel beneath her Brookside Ridge cottage, her flashlight cutting through the musty air. The Linda's Liberty Festival raged above on the HOA's $1.5 million parking lot, with 3,000 supporters shutting down condo access and hashtag Linda's Festival trending at 18 million mentions. The 1955 deed proved her 7 stolen acres, and the 1970s documents from the tunnel, verified by forensic historian Dr. Clarence Gwynn, exposed decades of HOA land theft tied to Evelyn Shaw's family. But the mysterious map from a hooded stranger pointing to a hidden chamber under the condo complex had lit a spark in Linda's heart. With the injunction hearing hours away and the recent arson scorching her garden, the 60-year-old retired nurse knew she had to risk everything to uncover the truth. Linda, Alex, and Dana ventured deeper into the tunnel, following the map's faded lines. The passage twisted under the parking lot, its 1950s bricks crumbling under their touch. After 100 feet, they reached a rusted iron door, sealed with a padlock. Dana's bolt cutter snapped it open, revealing a small chamber stacked with dusty file boxes. Linda's pulse raced as she opened one. Inside were 1980s contracts, bank transfers, and a handwritten note from Evelyn's father to a developer detailing a $100,000 payoff to secure land for the condo project. Another document, a 1970 survey, showed forged boundaries matching the 2012 scam that stole Linda's 7 acres. "This is their playbook," Alex whispered. "They've been stealing land for decades." The chamber's evidence was illegal dynamite. Alex photographed every page, uploading them to a secure cloud. Dr. Clara confirmed the document's authenticity, linking them to a 1985 lawsuit where another homeowner lost land to the HOA's predecessor. The chamber also held a ledger listing consulting fees to a company owned by Gregory Vance's uncle, tying the lawyer's family to the scheme. Linda realized the HOA's desperation to seal her basement wasn't just about the parking lot. It was to hide this chamber. "If we get this to court," Alex said, "Evelyn's done." Above ground, the festival had grown into a movement. Linda announced a truth march to the HOA's office, a half-mile from the parking lot. By Sunday afternoon, 4,000 supporters marched through Brookside Ridge, chanting "Linda's Land" and carrying signs, "Expose HOA Lies." Jordan Hale's live stream hit 2 million viewers, with hashtag #TruthMarch trending globally. News helicopters captured the sea of people surrounding the HOA's glass-walled office, where Evelyn's staff watched in panic. A viral TikTok of the march set to a protest anthem hit 20 million views, with comments flooding in, "Take down the HOA. Linda's unstoppable." Evelyn's team retaliated. Gregory Vance filed an emergency motion to halt the march, claiming it incited violence. The HOA hired private security to block the office entrance, and Evelyn sent emails to residents threatening lawsuits against marchers. But the tide was turning. Maria Garcia, the former HOA assistant, joined the march, revealing more. Evelyn bribed the county clerk in 2020 to bury old surveys, she told Jordan's camera. Her testimony, uploaded to New England Uncovered, hit 12 million views, and hashtag Linda's Truth surged. Maria's USB drive with emails about tunnel issues was submitted to the court, strengthening Alex's case. The injunction hearing loomed at 9 a.m. Monday. Alex presented the chamber's documents, Maria's emails, and Clara's report, arguing the HOA's fraud invalidated their claim to the parking lot. Gregory countered, claiming the chamber was private HOA property and Linda's entry was trespassing. He introduced a new witness, Deputy Ryan Holt, Sheriff Torres's assistant, who testified that Linda's festival endangered public safety. Ryan's testimony stunned Linda. He'd been friendly at the festival, even accepting coffee from volunteers. Alex whispered, "He's been bought." The judge, a no-nonsense woman named Helen Price, leaned forward, her eyes narrowing at Ryan's vague answers. Outside, the Truth March grew chaotic. Private security clashed with marchers, shoving a teenager holding a Linda's Land sign. The incident, caught on Jordan's stream, went viral, sparking outrage. The HOA's PR team issued a statement calling the marchers rioters, but it backfired, with online forums dubbing Evelyn the Land Thief Queen. The GoFundMe hit $300,000, funding a forensic accountant to trace the chamber's bank transfers. The accountant found a $50,000 payment to a shell company linked to Deputy Ryan Holt, hinting at corruption in the sheriff's office. Linda's cottage remained a fortress, with volunteers guarding it against more arson attempts. The scorched garden was a grim reminder of the HOA's tactics. Late Sunday, Linda received a text from an unknown number. "Stop the march or the toll collapses with you in it." She showed it to Sheriff Torres, who traced it to a burner phone but found no owner. Linda's heart pounded. Someone knew she'd entered the chamber. She suspected Ryan, whose sudden testimony felt like a betrayal. As the hearing approached, Alex warned that Judge Price might rule against the festival if Ryan's testimony held. He said, "We need more from the chamber." Linda returned to the tunnel alone at midnight, her flashlight shaking. She found a hidden panel in the chamber, revealing a small safe.
Inside was a 1995 audio tape labeled HOA Meeting. Her hands trembled. She didn't have a tape player, but this could be the key to exposing Evelyn's empire. She slipped it into her pocket, planning to get it to Alex by morning. But as Linda exited the tunnel, a low rumble shook the ground. Dust fell from the ceiling, and a crack split the brick wall. She stumbled, her flashlight dropping. The tunnel was collapsing just as the text had warned. She scrambled toward the basement, heart racing as the rumble grew louder. Above, the festival's lights flickered, and the crowd's cheers turned to screams. Someone had triggered a trap, and Linda was caught in its jaws. With the hearing hours away and the tape in her pocket, she had one chance to escape and expose the truth, or be buried with it.
They thought they could bury her in a collapsing tunnel, but Linda Martin's final stand would bring the HOA's empire to its knees. With a 1995 audio tape in hand, she faced the courtroom showdown that would decide her family's legacy. Linda Martin scrambled through the crumbling tunnel beneath her Brookside Ridge cottage, the ground shaking as bricks fell around her. The air was thick with dust, her flashlight flickering in the chaos. The Linda's Liberty Festival roared above, with 4,000 supporters marching to the HOA's office in the Truth March. Hashtag Linda's Truth, trending at 20 million mentions. The 1955 deed, 1970s tunnel documents, and 1980s chamber files proved the Brookside HOA, led by Evelyn Shaw, had stolen 7 of her 12 acres for a $1.5 million parking lot. The 1995 audio tape in her pocket, found in a hidden safe, was her last hope to expose decades of fraud. But the tunnel's collapse, triggered by an unknown saboteur, threatened to bury her and the truth. At 60, the retired nurse clutched the tape, her grandparents' legacy fueling her fight as she raced toward the basement exit. Linda stumbled into a basement, coughing, her clothes coated in dust. The rumble stopped, but a crack now split the tunnel ceiling. She clutched the tape, her heart pounding. Someone had tried to kill her. Above, the festival crowd's screams faded as volunteers rushed to her cottage, pulling her to safety. Alex, her nephew and lawyer, was pale. "You could have died," he said, eyeing the tape. "What's on it?" Linda didn't know she needed a tape player, but its label, HOA Meeting 1995, promised answers. Jordan Hale, the YouTuber, filmed her emergence, his voice urgent. "Linda survived a tunnel collapse. What's the HOA hiding?" The clip hit 15 million views, and hashtag Linda's Escape trended globally. The injunction hearing was at 9 a.m., hours away. Alex rushed the tape to a tech expert, Sarah Lynn, who digitized it overnight. By dawn, they had the audio. A 1995 HOA meeting where Evelyn's father, then board president, discussed eliminating boundary disputes with permanent solutions. He named a surveyor, Gregory Vance's uncle, who was paid to forge documents, and hinted at leverage over county officials, including a young Sheriff Torres. Evelyn's voice, younger but unmistakable, suggested sealing old tunnels to hide evidence. The tape was a legal nuke, tying the HOA's fraud to Evelyn and implicating Torres in a cover-up. In the Pine Hollow courthouse, the gallery overflowed with supporters wearing hashtag Linda's Land pens. Alex presented the tape, the chamber's 1980s documents, Maria Garcia's emails, and Dr. Clara Nguyen's forensic report. He declared the Brookside HOA built a criminal empire on stolen land and played the tape, which Evelyn's recorded voice echoed, chilling the room. Judge Helen Price's eyes widened as the gallery gasped. Gregory Vance, Evelyn's lawyer, stammered, claiming the tape was inadmissible hearsay. Alex countered, citing Maria's testimony and the chamber's ledgers that linked Gregory's uncle to $100,000 in payoffs. The judge admitted the evidence, ordering an investigation into the HOA's finances.
Evelyn's composure cracked. She whispered furiously to Gregory, who filed a last-ditch motion for adverse possession, claiming the HOA had legally used Linda's land since 2012. But Maria took the stand, her voice steady. "I saw Evelyn destroy surveys in 2022 to hide the 1995 fraud." Her testimony, backed by the USB drive's emails, sealed the HOA's fate. Deputy Ryan Holt, exposed by the forensic accountant's $50,000 payment trace, refused to testify further, citing personal reasons. Sheriff Torres, humiliated by the tape's mention of his early career, vowed to investigate Ryan's ties to the HOA. Outside, the Truth March had paralyzed Brookside Ridge. The festival, now a national symbol of HOA resistance, drew 5,000 supporters, with hashtag Linda's Truth hitting 25 million mentions. Jordan's final video, Nurse's Tape Exposes HOA Empire, hit 20 million views, showing drone footage of the march and Linda holding the tape. A viral TikTok of Evelyn storming out of the courthouse, dodging reporters, racked up 30 million likes. Comments flooded in. Linda's a legend. HOAs are done. The GoFundMe soared to $400,000, covering Linda's $150,000 legal fees and funding a class action lawsuit for other HOA victims. Judge Price delivered her ruling at noon. The injunction against the festival was denied, and the HOA's claim to the parking lot was voided. She ordered the lot's demolition within 60 days unless the HOA paid Linda $6 million for the stolen 7 acres. The tunnel was declared Linda's property, and the chamber's documents were seized for a state investigation. Evelyn faced criminal charges for fraud and conspiracy, with Gregory under scrutiny for his uncle's ties to the HOA. The gallery erupted in cheers, and Linda, tears in her eyes, hugged Alex. "For you, Grandpa," she whispered, clutching the deed. The festival turned into a victory celebration, with supporters dancing on the parking lot. Linda took the stage, her voice breaking. "This land is ours, and no HOA can take our fight." The crowd chanted, "Linda's land," as news helicopters filmed the scene. A national network ran a special, The Nurse Who Toppled an HOA Empire, sparking HOA reform bills in 3 states. Linda's cottage, once threatened, became a community hub, with volunteers rebuilding her scorched garden. The tunnel was preserved as a historic site, a testament to her grandparents' legacy. But one mystery lingered. The hooded stranger who gave Linda the map was never found. Maria suspected it was a former HOA board member, guilt-ridden over past scams. Late one night, Linda found a note slipped under her door. "You won. Keep the tape safe." She smiled, tucking it into her grandparents' metal box. The HOA's empire was dust, but Linda's fight had ignited a movement. Across the country, homeowners rallied, sharing hashtag Linda's Land stories, vowing to challenge HOA greed. For Linda, the victory wasn't just the land, it was the fire she lit for justice.